When you're living in a small space, even a little bit of clutter can make a big difference in how livable your environment is. Today, I'm going to be reorganizing the truck camper in preparation for a short trip with Kiri. Now, we're just going on a single overnight this time. It's not going to be months on the road, but I'm going to show you how things fit in the truck camper, where I put things, how I store it, and how this works when you want to live out of it. So come along with me as I clean this out and get ready for another trip on the road. All right, so I have a lot of stuff that I keep in my truck camper section of storage. Some of it I use when I'm going on long road trips, and some of it I'm going to use when I'm on short road trips. We are getting ready for just an overnighter trip. So this is going to be a simpler packing expedition than what I would need to do if I was on a whole month trip. So let's take a look at how the camper looks mostly empty. There's a few things in it. We've got a fair amount of space through here. I've got the space for my cooler, which is currently sitting in the garage. I like this cooler because it has the two sides, so I can do refrigeration and freezer on one side or just keep them at separate temperatures. But it is fairly bulky and does take up a fairly large percentage of my truck camper space. So if I'm just going for a weekend, I don't always bring this one with. It used to just always live in the back of the truck camper, but now that I've been commuting so much more with the truck camper and going on more short trips, I'll just bring this along when I need it. Again, it goes in this space here. Here's the power cord for it, and that power cord runs underneath, comes out over here, and then can plug into the Jackery when Jackery is here, but Jackery is also out right now. I've got an empty cubby here. Got the spot for the sink. We'll have to get that in. Empty cubby. I've got the stove in here. A few supplies for toilet things. And then I do always have storage underneath here. But as you can see, that needs a little bit of cleaning out. I've been throwing things in there for too long. I have some bug protection, extra soap, WD-40, bear spray. You can see that the kind of peel and stick liner that I put on this is really ripping, but not a big problem in here. And then I also do have in this bucket is like my shower supplies, a fan, a scarf in case it gets cold, those kind of things. And then I do have a little broom duster to go ahead and clean this out when we get tons of sand in it. And then these are the curtains for the back. So we'll leave all of that in here. And then there's also a little foam plug for the window in case we're trying to keep it insulated. And then my bed is already in here currently. So I've got pillows, sheets, and bedding already in the truck camper. All right, let's start by putting a couple of the simple things into the truck camper. We're going to grab Jack. Now, Jack goes in this little spot. I've got the power cord for him here. And again, this power cord comes into this outlet, which runs up to the front of my truck, so it'll charge while it is driving. If I stay in one space too long, I could have trouble keeping Jack charged if he's running the cooler. But when I'm moving and changing positions regularly, that works out quite well. So there he is. And then this cord can just get tucked around, so it's not going to be used right now. And then we'll grab the simple sink. I didn't put much effort into this sink. It's pretty straightforward. I can just take it out and dump it when I'm done using it, but it just sets right in there. Nice and easy. The next item we're going to bring with is a simple bucket. I had been using a toilet that was more of like a cassette toilet style, but I don't use it very often. It's really just for an emergency. And so I transitioned to something a little simpler. I ended up getting this toilet topper. And so I just put a bag in here, and then I will put some kitty litter, simple and easy, into a garbage bag. for a real nice, quick and easy thing to use. And then if I do end up using it, I can go ahead and just toss it rather than having to clean the cassette toilet, because I'm not a huge fan of cleaning the cassette toilet. So if I'm going on a longer trip, I'll bring more, but that's enough just to keep in the truck for emergencies. And then this slides in right there, and it fits a little bit smaller than when I had the full cassette toilet. So that works pretty nicely for me there. I also always want a trash can. So I typically stick the trash can here. On this trip, since I don't have the cooler, it may shift over to the other side, but trash can can go right there. I'll need a chair or two. When the cooler's not here, they fit really nicely in this space. But when the cooler is here, I tend to slide them here so that they just go along the side. That's a nice spot as well. And I don't know why, but I almost always keep 2 chairs in here. One reason is because I often travel with a second person, but even when I'm camping alone, I'll sometimes set out 2 chairs depending on where I am. It seems like it just, you know, if you can give the impression that there's 2 people, it's just a little bit safer. So I'll put the second one out. When I camped with Glia, she would often sit in the second chair, but Curie hasn't quite discovered the beauty of a chair yet. So we'll see if she does. I still need to fill my water container, but for the purposes of showing, we'll put a water container here. Now I also bring some water in my water bladder that I use for hiking. So there'll be more water than just this. And I'll probably bring some water bottles too. And then I'm going to bring a little cooler on this trip because it's a little trip. And I shouldn't be going too far off road where I need an extra gas can. But sometimes when we're driving, I will store the gas can kind of in these sections as well. Obviously, I pull it out when I sleep at night, but having a spare gas can is nice. I'm hoping to get a gas canister to mount on the outside of the truck camper. I think that would make things a little bit easier. I could just leave that more full. So stay tuned. That might be coming soon. But for now, I'll bring this when I need to. For now, I'm just going to toss Kiri's bed up there. She likes to lay on that when she's outside. I like to keep 2 plates, 2 cups, and 2 bowls in the truck camper. Those can fit here or here, wherever I prefer. So for this trip, I'm going to stick them here. Now, I wish this was a little bit shorter. You can see that like the lip of it doesn't quite sit in there, so I could fit something a little more custom here, but it stays in mostly on the bumpy roads, not always. If I'm bringing pots and pans, which again, I don't think I'm going to be cooking much on this one, those can sometimes slide in here too, and I'll just take the glasses out, but the pots and pans are ready to roll. I find that the easiest way to boil water for coffee in the morning is with my backpacking stove and this little coffee pot. So it's just a really simple coffee pot. And then backpacking stove here is also just a simple GSI Outdoors. And I've got the little lighter and the fuel canister all in there. REI has been good purchases. It goes faster than boiling it on my bigger stove. And then that can slide in here next to all the plates and bowls and everything, so we're ready there. Now, if you're going to bring things to cook with, you should probably bring a lighter and check that they both work before we launch off. Okay, we got 2 of those. Those I either keep in the side here or I'll put them in one of the drawers. So I'm going to go stick those in a drawer. I typically bring 2 drawers. One is more kitchen utensils, although sometimes I'll put the power cord in here depending on which one has more room. This is a long power cord that can reach from my Jackery up to the bed in the truck camper. So kitchen things would have the lighters, openers, a knife, my spoons, forks, a little bit of camp suds soap, a rag to wash dishes with, and then again, sometimes this cord. And then over here I have towels and contact solution and teeth brushing supplies, and everything I need on that side of it. I should go grab some sunscreen too, because this is going to be an Arizona adventure. So 1 second. All right, we'll add that to the toiletries drawer, which is getting a little full. Okay, so let's go put these in the truck camper. The kitchen drawer goes in this section right here. However, when I'm driving, I still haven't made a good, I just need a little locking switch mechanism here to keep this from bouncing out, because it does bounce out. So it's going to go over here for now. And my toiletries and everything go in this drawer, which goes right here. But again, it'll ride on the seat for now. So I'll put that there. And then this trip, I'm also going to bring along this little automatic water dispenser, which pairs up with my water jug so I can spray water on when I wash dishes. We're going to try it out and see how that goes. I think I'm going to store it here for now. But if it doesn't stay there while we travel, I can always put it in the big bin over here. I'm going to put my headlamp in easy reach here and this little bin. I've also got toilet paper handy here in case I get to an outhouse or something that doesn't have it. Now, I often store food here too. So, like I said, we'll put this here. I'm going to lay it back down so that I can get the lid on it. And then if I bring like a box of cereal, things like that, that can sit here. And then the final space I have, I typically put clothes in. So clothes can go there. But we'll do, and this also sometimes has clothes in it and fits right there as well. It actually fits nicer there, so we'll move it there. So this will be food storage. I'm looking at getting some type of like net to go across here to kind of hold things in. I think that would be a nice little upgrade. So I need to just take a day and do a couple upgrades here to get the kind of slot switches so that the drawers stay in, and then some nets to keep kind of the cargo in. But for now, clothes can go there because I'm not bringing much. Again, it's just a 2-day. And that's how everything fits for a short trip. So obviously I still have to get my food in here. I have to get Kiri's food in here, my hiking backpack, things like that. But there's plenty of space for an overnight, a weekend trip, things like that. When you do go for a week or a month, it gets awful tight in here. You have to be pretty specific on what you want to have in the camper because there's only so much space. So it's important to keep it limited. The more clutter you have, the harder this is to live out of for sure. But plenty of space for a weekend or a half week. And I'm really looking forward to getting this back out in the forest. It looks like it's going to be a heat wave here in Phoenix coming up this weekend. So I am really excited to be able to escape a little bit of that and head up to the mountains. If you're interested in joining me on that journey, that video should be coming up soon as well. Happy travels, everyone.